advantage, number 1, it can detect interaction among the variables. Number 2, it can efficiently estimate factor effects. For the disadvantage, number 1, two-level factorial cannot explore wide region of factor space for quantitative factors. And number 2, difficulty of experimenting with more than 2 factors or many levels.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zunnur Alwani binti Ahmad Zaki. My matric number is 1202527 and I will explain the Central Composite Design, which is CCD. Central Composite Design or CCD is one of the main types of response surface design and is commonly used type. CCD are a factorial or fractional factorial design with center points augmented with a group of axial points, or also called as star points, that let you estimate the curvature. So the advantages of central composite design is it is more accurate and no need for a 3-level factorial experiment to build a second-order quadratic model. This is because central composite design is a response surface design, which apart from the 3-level factors, it has axial or star point. So the axial or star point usually denoted as alpha, that increases the number of levels to 5 levels, and thereby giving the experimental design flexibility. Besides, it is also useful in sequential experiments because this design can include information from a correctly planned factorial experiment, unlike the Box-Behnken design that cannot include runs from a factorial experiment. In CCD, we can build on previous factorial experiments by adding axial and center points. Next, in central composite design, the minimum numbers of factors it can accommodate is 2, whereas in Box-Behnken design, the minimum number of factors it can accommodate is 3. Lastly, its advantages over Box-Behnken design is that it allows the experimental designer to know what effect the factors had on response if the experimental designer goes beyond or below the chosen levels of factors. However, there are also disadvantages of central composite design. First is, it requires a rather rigid pattern of data collection points that do not always fit the needs of human factors engineering studies. Besides, under similar conditions, often the number of tests is greater than Box-Behnken. For example, 20 experiments for 3 factors is needed in central composite design as compared to Box-Behnken design that need 15 experiments for 3 factors.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi to everyone. My name is Adilah Binti Mohd Zulkiflee, matric number 1202532, and I will be explaining about how to input a data in the box BEHNKEN step by step. So firstly, we open the design expert software and we have this new interface where we click the new design. So I put the data that I want to choose at this side, and the design expert software at this side. So we can see the data in the software. So at the first interface we will see a factorial design, but we don't want a factorial design, we want a box BEHNKEN design. So we go to response of surface and we see that at the list we will see a box BEHNKEN. So at this we will input a data according to the quantitative and qualitative value. So for numeric factors stand for the quantitative value in the quantitative parameter in the experiment, and the categoric factors are the qualitative parameters in the experiment. And so as we see here in this experiment, it required a 6 parameter that we want to test. So we input the numeric factors as 6. Okay, so when we have a 6 factors, so we will input the data that we want. Okay, so we will see that the unit for the parameters are in percentage. So we will input all the units as percentage. So for the -1 level, it stands for the minimum value that we want to input for each of the parameters. So we will input the minimum value for each parameter. For the +1 level, we will input the opposite of the minimum, which is maximum. So we will input the maximum value for each of the parameter. And how we get the minimum and maximum value, we will see at the case study here. We can see that the range, which is like 70 to 25, so 70 is minimum and 25 is maximum. Okay, continuing. Okay, so we have done inputting all the parameters that we needed, and so we will see that it has said that the center point per block is 6, and the run that we have is 54 runs. So okay, we will click on the continue, and we will see the response that we want to see. So for this, we will see that in this experiment we have about 6 response that we want to see, but I will only choose 2, which is soundness test and also the compressive strength. So we will put in the 2 value that we want, which is the soundness and also the compressive strength. So at the unit, we will see, I will put the unit for the response that we want. So current compressive strength is, and so we click on continue. After we click on the continue, the software will input the design, and it will analyze all the possible run that we can do in this experiment. So for this experiment, we have said that it has a 54 runs. So it has 54 runs. And for this, we will see that the factor 1, factor 2, which we have input at the first, and we will see that the response 1 and response 2 is empty because we have to take the experiment and we have to observe the data that we get into the response 1. So that's all from me. Thank you. So for BEHNKEN, it has several advantages and disadvantages. For the advantages of BEHNKEN design, it is able to figure out the potential interaction between parameters. It is also time saving by reducing the number of experiments, and it also addresses the issue of where the experimental boundary should be, and in particular avoid treatment combinations that are extreme. So for the disadvantages for BEHNKEN design, it do not have an embedded factorial design, thus they are not suited for sequential experiment. That's all. Thank you.